get your petrol, whether you go and you get the bus, whether you the clothes that you wear in the shop, the designer, you cannot get through life without a man.
Men built the world. Like they do all of the hard jobs in society, everything that makes the infrastructure run.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we don't need men. That's not my view at all. But I just feel like this is like that term left over. I feel like the things you're saying and the over-reliance on men, that's what perpetuates that view, because it makes it seem like a woman literally can't survive without a man. And I feel like you're linking that. Like one thing you mentioned earlier, you said that there's a link between divorce rates.
If a woman can survive without a man, how are babies being made? Like, even, think about it. Even if you go to, the donor, a man did that. So this independent,
You say a lot of, I feel like. There's a lot of feelings. Is there any, do you come from a place of logic, or is this all feeling?
What do you think is feeling?
What
do you think is feeling?
No, because you say, I feel like. Okay, so I was just wondering if you're saying that.
So do you want me to say I know?
No, I don't know. Is it all feeling? If you tell me it's feeling, then it's feeling.
I don't think it's feeling. This is what I mean. What leaves women in a bad place financially is kids. And because we have access to birth control now, that's what I mean by I feel like we have power. And I wouldn't go to the extreme of saying a woman needs a man, but I wouldn't also go to the extreme of saying a woman can't live without a man.
You might not think that you need a man when you've got a child, but actually you do. But you won't realise that until you see the consequences through your life and through your child's life. Because when women have children, it's all right to say, I'm going to leave the marriage, because you're going to leave the marriage with the child, the house, the car, his money. You don't have to work again. But some of the most successful couples I know is with the woman at home, because the man brings everything in, but I can see you smiling as a young person. There's nothing wrong being a housewife and having your side hustle. You can have your side hustle, you can have your own business, you can have your own law firm, you can have everything like that and still be a housewife. And when young people look at it like, oh, there's something wrong being a housewife, wait till you're 35 and you're on your own and there's no man and it's just you and your pets. And then you're going to think, I've got my degree, I've travelled, I've done this, I've got my house, I've got my business. Who are you going to travel with? Your old friends, your old female friends. Because nobody of any status is going to want to travel with you, especially if you've got children. So you might think that things were different back in the day, but things were actually better back in the day because people got married. I am one person, I believe in till death do you part. You shouldn't be allowed to get divorced. Somebody should have to die before you get divorced, because that's what it says, till death do you part. And if more people went into marriage thinking, do you know what, get counselling, let me go and do this, talk to my elders, talk to my parents, then you'd have more successful marriages and it wouldn't seem so bad as a young person.
In terms of the generation we're in, I feel like that's where a lot of the things you're saying, I disagree. And another thing that I feel like you're saying you need a man for is when you have a child, which I understand, because parenting is it's for two people. It's not for one person. Regardless of if you're a man or a woman, you need two people to parent. However, I wouldn't say that a woman needs, like what you're saying about, so you're saying a woman that's 35, she's done a lot, like in terms of financially, she's had a lot of life experiences, but she's not with a man. You're saying her life is unsuccessful just because she's not got a man.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying she'll be successful, but will she be satisfied and won't she be lonely, or she won't be lonely? What are you going to do when it comes to 50 and you're on your own, 60 when you're on, 70 when you're on your own? And if you intend to be on your own, like say 35, if you can say, right, you know what, I'm not going to settle down to my 35, start planning your pension. Start planning that when you're old or you're disabled or you can't manage yourself, who's going to look after you? You might as well start planning these things ahead, because a lot of people don't look ahead like that. But if you had a husband and you're married, pensions and all them things. So if you're going to be like enjoying your life now, I had my pension at 18, so I was different. I was one of those early people. But you need to start planning. I
have a pension as
early.
well.
That's good. You need to start planning early and think about property and not traveling and things like that. Then I can say, well, if you're going to be on your own, fine, but be happy on your own. But can you be happy on your own at 60, 70, 80,
And that's the one thing, just to back what she's saying up, the least happy group of women is women over the age of 45 that are single and childless, that make over $47,000 per year.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for a woman that's childless and she doesn't have a partner at 40. I'm just saying, just because you don't have someone at 35 doesn't mean you keep going to 60 and 70. Again, going to extremes.
I'm 53. That's not extreme.
No, but you keep mentioning 60.
Talking to your
70.
mic, talking to your mic.
You keep
yeah.
mentioning 60, 70. That's extreme from 35.
But
that's
I'm 53.
You don't go from, you haven't mentioned, okay, a woman at 40.
But
You're jumping years. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying just because, my point is, to begin with, just because you're 35 and you're single doesn't mean you'll be single at 40, at 60, at 70.
Well, but the problem is at 35, you've lost all the things that men value. That's the problem.